Alright, hey guys, it's Silverstar, back for my second ever draft analysis video. My first one was for the LPFT Season 2, but this one, the WGDC, it's like the Wiggly Guild, from like the Mystery Dungeon games, draft league, basically. And I'm pumped about this draft. If you guys don't know, my LPFT season kind of dropped off. I'm in school and I didn't have enough time to keep recording videos and everything for it. I'm still in school, but I'm going to try again. The LPFT is still going. I didn't make playoffs. My season really dropped off because I didn't have time to prep. It is what it is. But this season, I'm winning the whole thing. Alright, you heard it here first. Silverstar is going to be your Season 2 WGDC champion. Okay? So, as a preface, there's some things about this league that are a little different. First of all, it is Legacy National decks. Or Legacy, it's called DLC Legacy is what it's played in, which means every Pokemon is legal. Hidden powers are legal, except on some Pokemon, so I'll get to some Pokemon that I'll get to later. But basically all you have to know is that it's kind of like Gen 7 plus the new Pokemon in Gen 8 and the new moves, so it's super cool. It's my favorite format. Dynamax is banned, Z-moves are banned. I think baton passing with more than one stat is banned, and substitutes. And that's about it. I'm going to get right into it. So I had the 6th pick in the draft out of 16, which isn't the best. It's also not the worst. I think 8 or 9 is the worst. So I'll take 6th. It meant that I could get a pretty great tier 1. And I was expecting the first couple to be the big monsters in the format. However, it wasn't, because I got Greninja, okay? Tier 1 Greninja, you know why. Or if you don't know why, if you see Greninja in Tier 1, it's because it has protein. Also legal was Ash Greninja. And both were actually around when I got my pick. So I was expecting the first 5 to be like the crazy Pokemon that I could not believe were legal, being Darkrai, Speed Boosting Blaziken, Ash Greninja, Protein Greninja, Libero Cinderace. I don't even know if I said that one yet. As you can see, Libero Cinderace went right before Greninja. I was going to pick it if it wasn't gone. There were some absolute bangers in Tier 1. And I was actually going to go to Tier 2 on 6th pick. But Greninja was still there and I had to go for it. Protein Greninja is insane. If you guys don't know, it was like a Ubersmon in singles when it first came out. It's got 122 speed, which I'll let you know right now is going to be my fastest Pokemon. 103 special attack, it's okay, and 95 attack, it's also okay. But pair that with those stab hits on every move, stab U-turns, stab gunk shots, stab extra sensory, stab what? Obviously I always have stab like water and dark type moves, but you have stab on every move, and you can use defensively, change yourself to a ground type, setting up spikes, change yourself to a poison type, setting up toxic spikes. It is a great mod. I don't know if I'm going to be able to use it to the best of my ability, or the best of its ability. But I think no matter what, it's hard to prep for. Because it's like, oh, I'll just bring my electric type, my Raichu. But then I'm like, oh, I'll set up spikes all over your Raichu. And then if you decide to go for like HP Ice, I'll switch to a water type. Like there's some serious mind games like we played with Greninja, and I'm super, super pumped to use it. You'll see later, I don't really treat this as my water or dark type, so my cores I fill out later because it's going to be changing all the time, hopefully, abusing that protein. And I'm super, super pumped about it. My next pick, because there are such bangers in Tier 1, they moved some classic Tier 1 Pokemon down to Tier 2. Among these we have like Infernape, Kyurem, Kyurem base form, Kyurem Black, and Kyurem White are obviously banned. Salamence got moved down, and I was really looking at Salamence. I didn't end up picking it. And then Keldeo and Thundurus Incarnate got moved down. So I just had to grab Thundurus Incarnate. The biggest reason I got it was because it has Defiance. And people always sleep on Defiant Thundurus. So I was like, oh, it has Prankster, because it has 2 really good abilities. Prankster and Defiant. But I grabbed it mainly because of that Defiant ability, because I'm going to be trying to set up a lot of hazards with my Greninja and some of my later picks, and I really want to punish those Defogs. If they go for Defog, I get a free switch into Thundurus and get a +2 in the attack stat. not much wants to switch in on a +2 wild charge or a +2 superpower. Even just go for a really basic +2 knockoff. Like, not much is switching on that from a 115 attack. And if their wall is like a especially bulky Pokemon because they expect like Volt Switch and like Thunderbolt because it's got a higher special attack stat, then they really are in a bad position because I got a +2 115 attack Pokemon just coming for their heads. At 111 speed, it's no slouch too. It outspeeds a lot of the lower tier electric types like Raichus, Abstracto, those kind of Pokemon that might want to be like, oh, I can switch in on like abuse like electric immunities, but I'm faster than them, so I don't really have a problem with that. So yeah, I was really pumped about this. Obviously, it also has Prankster, which I'm talking a lot about Defiant, saying like how cool that is. But it has Prankster Defog, it has Prankster, it has to have Prankster Thunderwave. Prankster, a lot of decent moves. Prankster setup is really impressive with like Prankster Nasty Plot, Prankster Bulk Up, which if it got Roost, I think Prankster Bulk Up would be super awesome. Since it doesn't, I don't think it's like crazy, but I probably will bring it a week that I'm against like a physically threatening Pokemon, bring Prankster Bulk Up into like a superpower kind of thing, just to see how it works out. And I'm super excited about this pick overall. As you can see right before it went Ditto, which was kind of wild, seeing as that's not really a Pokemon I consider round 2 worthy, but I was super pumped about this. And I'm thinking this really fills out my course. Sorry about that, guys. Fills out my course really well. And I can't wait to see how it goes. Alright guys, sorry about that. I had to take a weird video call thingy, but I'm back, and here we go. Mega Altaria is on the roster. I went for it. Round 3. It's in a second tier Mega, so it's plus 20 points in this division, like in this league. And I'm stoked. This is my favorite Pokemon. You can see it on my logo. My team name is named after it. It's gonna be shiny every week, and it's gonna be named either Nugget or Atlanta every single week. It is literally my favorite Pokemon. I'm so excited. Its stats are sick too. It's got one of the coolest typings probably ever with Dragon Fairy. Like I can't think of anything cooler than that. Maybe like Ghost Fighting on Marshadow might be cooler, but like they're opposites. It's so cool, and it's such a cool offensive and defensive typing. You resist so much. You're immune to Dragon. Like you resist all those like Fire, Water, Grass, Electric kind of things because it's Dragon type. Your only weaknesses are Ice, Poison, and Steel, I believe. Oh, and Fairy. But like Poison and Steel get dumpstered by Earthquakes. Also, if I want to go special, I hit with the Fire Blast because it can go special, which is something I noticed like after the draft, or like round 4 or 5. I noticed this after I picked these first 3 Pokemon. I noticed that my first 3 Mons can all be physical or special, which is really interesting. Makes it kind of tough to prep for them. Like Thunders and Altaria especially, I think are both Mons that are very good either side. And then Greninja, you obviously have to be afraid of like gunk shots and stuff on the physical side, and U-turns as well. But I have so much to say about Altaria just because I love it so much. It's one of the best like bulky sweepers in the format, comparable to like Gyarados, and like I wouldn't say Aerodactyl's a bulky sweeper, but later in my LPFT, I ran max HP, max special defense Aerodactyl to set up on my Lodic, which is just like something that I did because I wanted it to be like Mega Altaria. And now I have Mega Altaria, which is like so good at doing that kind of thing, like just setting up in the face of another Pokemon with stats molded to set up on that Pokemon. It's just, I'm super excited to be able to use it. Another thing it can do is be super bulky, which it's got 105 in special defense and 110 in defense with a decent 75 HP. So you bring like Roost, Cotton Guard kind of sets, which are super good. So if you're against an opponent with like either a bad Fairy or a bad Steel type, or like not even a bad Steel type, but a Steel type that doesn't resist Fairy, you can bring something like Dragon Dance, Cotton Guard, Roost, Return, because Return is legal. and it just will do so much work if you can set up on a physical Pokemon. And I'm stoked to be able to have Mega Altaria on my team. It's my favorite Pokemon without a doubt. So at this point, the draft had gone down, all the way down, like down to pick 16, back up. I grabbed Thundurus on the way back up and Altaria on the way back down. And now I have to wait like 30 or something picks until it's my turn again. So I was kind of like, what am I really going to be able to get? Most people are grabbing their tier 2s and tier 3s now. So I was like, okay, I might not get a high value tier 3. Most of the good tier 2s will be gone. And so I'm going to dip to tier 4. And I'm going to get one of the best tier 4s there right now, which in my opinion is Decidueye. Or I heard somebody call it Decadui. I freaking love that, so I'm going to call it Decadui a lot. I know that's 1000% wrong, but I think it's funny. But Decadui or Decidueye is in tier 4 in this league, which I was like, the value. I see this thing in tier 3 most of the time, and I was just really, really, really stoked to grab it. As you can see, a Moongus got grabbed right after this, so I could have gotten a Moongus, which looking back on it, because of a couple of my last few picks, maybe I should have gotten a Moongus. But that's a tier 3 and Decidueye is a tier 4. So I don't know. I grabbed Decidueye, and I'm super stoked about that. Just like the Pokemon before this is a Pokemon that can are physical or special. I've seen Specs Decidueye put in absolute work, and I've brought Band Decidueye, which I think was really decent with Band Shadow Sneak and stuff. But beyond that, it's a really bulky Pokemon, which is my first nice bulky Pokemon besides Altaria. So I can run Roost, Defog, Max HP, Max Special Defense, or Max HP, Max Defense kind of things. But it's not a Pokemon that's locked into that. So if I grabbed a Moongus, I'm almost always locked into being a bulky, toxic, regenerator, switching kind of Pokemon. Whereas Decidueye can be offensive, has priority, but I really grabbed it for that defog. A tier 4 defogger as good as Decidueye doesn't come around all the time. So I really thought I should dive for it on round 4 and be one of the first people to dive into tier 4. I'm not sure if anybody grabbed a tier 4 before this. I'm trying to think. I don't think they did. I think in Sky Division they might have. The other division, I'm in Space, but I think in Sky Division somebody might have grabbed a tier 4 in round 3 or 4 or something. But I was super stoked to get Decidueye this early, and this secure it like that. So yeah, sorry about that, guys. I got interrupted again. Spoilers. So I guess you can see my next pick. I went back up to tier 3. After diving to tier 4, I grabbed Decidueye, and now this is the point where it went down. It came back, I grabbed Decidueye on the way back, and then there's only 8 picks or something, I think 10 picks, and then it's back to me. And I noticed, I was like, I'm gonna go tier 4 because all the tier 3s will be gone. Bam, Incineroar is still there on round 5, which I mean isn't crazy, but for some reason I thought it would be gone for sure by this point. If you guys watch my LPFT team builder, I grabbed Arcanine in tier 2, but I really wanted Incineroar that league. This time I got it. I went for it a little bit earlier. I haven't done any of my free picks, as you guys can see so far. So there's 5 free picks, and there's only 1 tier 3 in this league, which is different from most others who do 2 tier 3s, 4 free picks. But I did get Incineroar, and I'm thrilled. Incineroar is the monster of VGC. I guess it's what most people know about, known for. It's got Intimidate, it's got Momentum in both Parting Shot and U-Turn, and it fires off 115 base attack, knockoffs, and flare blitzes. That's strong. You can't just discount that. One of my favorite sets is AV Incineroar, which I think puts in serious work, because then it's so bulky on both sides and can switch into so much. It does have kind of I wouldn't say a lot, but it has some common weaknesses. Being Fighting and Ground are the big ones that I think of. Rock is also somewhat common, but Fighting and Ground are really common. Just offensive types. Similar to Bug. Is it Bug? Does Fire resist Bug? I don't even know. If it does, though, Bug similarly with U-Turn. And then with the introduction of Flip Turn, another Water Momentum move. It's not the best, that it's I got a bulky fire type. I think fire types are better offensively. But of the bulky fires, Incineroar is the best, in my opinion. And I'm super excited to get an Intimidator that has momentum, because that's just, like, awesome. They give it to Arcanine with Teleport, but I still think Incineroar is better at it. I think Parting Shot is better, and I think even U-Turn. I think Teleport is the worst momentum move, and Parting Shot is up there. I don't know, it's hard to say. It's different on all Pokemon, but Parting Shot is really, really good. So I'm super excited to use Incineroar. I'm thinking I'm going to do some cool stuff with it. And yeah. Alright, so I'm back again. Like, how many times did I get interrupted? We're going to make a world record. But after Incineroar, I was looking at my draft and I'm like, okay, it's okay. But I don't want to get locked into the same problem I had in my last draft, which was being all of my speed tiers around the same area, which right now they're not. I have 60, 70, 80, 111, and 122. And I was just, this sounds stupid, but Trick Room like destroyed me twice in my last draft. You guys didn't see those videos, but it just dumpstered me 2 times in a row. Or not in a row, but 2 times in like 3 or 4 weeks. So I was like, okay, seems like a good option. Galastier's here now. It's a problem. And also I need a Steel type. So you guys might know what's coming. It's Capraja. Now this is my first free pick. And it's in tier 4. Some people say it belongs in tier 4. I've seen it placed in tier 3 occasionally. I think it's really good. I wish its special attack was switched with its defense, so it's more like Melmetal-like stats, with the first 3 being stacked and the last 3 being low. But I still think it's really decent. It's got the ability Sheer Force and also Heavy Weight or Heavy Body or something that doubles its weight to take advantage of moves like Heavy Slam and Heat Crash. That it gets access to both. I think this is a dangerous mon under Trick Room circumstances, which I will get a pretty decent Trick Room setter with my like last pick. So I have like that option, which I think is kind of scary for teams, especially when I have a fast option as well. Like I really like those like dual-sided kind of strategies. And also, I don't know, somebody made a joke about this in the draft, but it is something that is really good on this Pokemon, which is just like Sash Rocks die. Like, especially when I have a really good spin blocker in Decidueye and a really good Defiant Pokemon in Thundurus, it's going to be annoying to get rid of those rocks. So it's not like a useless just rocks die kind of Pokemon. It sets up rocks. Those rocks are really hard to deal with for my opponent. Otherwise, it's just a strong Pokemon with Sheer Force Iron Head, Sheer Force Rock Slides, heavyweight Heat Crashes, heavyweight Iron or Heavy Slams. It has pretty decent coverage, Earthquake, High Horsepower, all sorts of moves that can kind of like do some serious damage to my opponents. So I'm looking forward to using it. It'll be my first time ever using Capraja, because I didn't draft it in my last league, and it's been like 2 years since my league before that. So I'm pretty stoked. It's got a huge attack stat. Like it's just, I feel like people won't really consider it because it's just one of those mons that usually just rocks and dies. So offensively, people will just be like, yeah, I'm scared of Altaria, Greninja, Thundurus, moving on. But I think some people might be surprised and have to start putting some respect on the name of Capraja. Now my next pick, I'm kind of rocking out with these tier 4s. You'll see. I want a Rapid Spin option. This is for the sole reason that I don't want my only removal option to be clicking Defog and getting rid of my own hazards. So I grabbed Komala. Now I don't know how good Komala is. It's got a pretty decent attack stat, which I was kind of surprised with. I didn't know that. But I know it gets Wish, it gets Rapid Spin, and it gets U-Turn, and that's all I need from it. I really like having that Rapid Spin option. The speed increase is very negligible on Komala. I don't think it really matters that much. But it can be a Wish Passer, so it can wish around like my Incineroar, my Capraja. Wishing on a Capraja might be stupid because it's got such a high HP stat compared to Komala. But I can pass around some wishes to my bulky Pokemon, put him on Greninja if I want to too, heal him back up to full to restore him as a threat if he's ever low. And then also decent defensive stats, specifically the special defensive stat, HP special defense, decent. Yeah, I don't have too much to say about this Pokemon because I really don't know its full potential yet. But I do know it had what I was looking for, which was Rapid Spin. It's also a normal type, so it's actually like a nice defensive type. I was looking at Snorlax was still around at this point, and so was Miltank, which are both better defensive Pokemon than Komala. And Snorlax is just better in every way. Snorlax is tier 3, Komala's tier 4, so it's the same thing with like the Decidueye Amoonguss. But I picked Komala specifically because of that Rapid Spin, and also because it gives me that Wish option. I don't know how often I'm going to be like passing wishes, but I'll probably run Wish Protect, Rapid Spin, U-turn, kind of stuff like that. And I'm pretty excited about it. I think this is another Pokemon that people sleep on a lot, similar to Caparaja. So I think I can catch people off guard. Maybe like 1 week, just using that 115 attack, just slap like Choice Band Earthquake, Choice Band Return, just do some damage and see what people like. I think that would just be funny, because people be super caught off guard by that. I think because it was just like, I think at least I've thought this way, that it's like I see a Kamala on the team and I'm like, okay, that's setup fodder. That's what I set up my Mega Aerodactyl on. That's what I set up my Gyarados on. And then I just whip out that like Choice Band Woodhammer or whatever it gets and just dumpster it. And I think that would be hilarious. So we'll see if that ever comes out, but it would be sick if it did. My next pick, sticking with the tier 4 trend, is Quagsire. Now here's why I got this, okay? Dracovish. I feel like that's all I have to say. If you watched LPFT week 2, I was hard stressing about facing the Dracovish, because there's just no such thing as an answer unless you have a Water Absorb Pokemon. So I secured a Water Absorb Pokemon. Gastrodon went like round 4 or something, which was what I was looking at. And then Seismitoad went similar, like at a similar time to that. Swampert went really early. I think Swampert went around the time I got Mega Altaria. I don't totally remember, but really early. And I know Quagsire was still there. And I love Quagsire. Look how goofy he is. He's so happy. And I was actually, like, I think Gastrodon was my first pick. And then second pick was Quagsire. I would have picked Quagsire over Seismitoad or Swampert. 100% over Swampert, because Dracovish just destroys that too. But over Seismitoad, because Quagsire gets Unaware, which means it's actually like, it's like an ability that is viable outside of Water Absorb. Whereas like if I think of Gastrodon, I'm pretty sure its other abilities like Sticky Hold or something. But Unaware means I can bring it against like sweepers that I'm scared of. And it actually has usage outside of just being a Dracovish answer, which I'm really excited about. Quagsire, I don't think it gets Stealth Rocks, and that's why people kind of clown on it a little bit. But it's got Recover, it's got Unaware, it's got Water Absorb, it's bulky. It actually, like, you can run it Scald, you can run it Liquidation, which are both like decent options. I'm pumped about Quagsire. I think he's such a goofy, cutie little Pokemon. Like, I know that sounds stupid, but that's literally my reason for drafting it. Besides just being a Dracovish answer. Like, at this point, I could have also gotten Cradily, which is a Water Absorb Pokemon. But I really, really like Quagsire. I think he's such a goofy guy, and I'm super pumped to use him. It is a little disappointing he doesn't get Stealth Rocks, but I'm chilling with it. So for my next pick, I had a lot of free points left. So at this point, I started with 440. I got Mega Altaria, which gave me additional 20, and I spent 180 of them on 3 tier 4s. So I think I was left with 280 points. And I noticed at this point, because up until this point I hadn't really made a decision. I think, well actually, I had made my decision by the time I picked Quagsire. But up until the point I picked Kamala, I was looking at Pokemon like Landorus. Therian was still there, which gave me a cool Intimidate, Corth, and Incineroar. Mew was still there, which is just always a good pick. Melmetal was still there, which if I might have picked it before Caparaja if I was going to pick it. But there's a ton of really good tier 1s left, and I could afford a tier 1. And I looked at the draft, and I noticed only one other person could afford a tier 1. Because I was doing Omega Brain math, as in like Basic Edition. And then that other person told me their pick, which was going to be Tapu Bulu. So I was like, I'm chilling to leave this tier 1 pick to the last pick. Which was just kind of exciting for me. Because it means that my last pick is Spice. And then in between that, I can get whatever lower tier mons I want to grab. So I grabbed Mienshao, a fighting type. Now this Pokemon fleshes out my speed tiers a little bit. It has 2 good abilities, maybe 3. I may just get Inner Focus, I think, as well. But Regenerate or Reckless are the good ones. I think it might get Inner Focus as well, which is kind of nifty if I want to like really avoid those Intimidates, but it's really not why it's there. It helps flesh out my speed tiers, putting something in between 80 and 111, and I'll get another Pokemon in between there with my last pick. But I was really, really thrilled to grab this. I wasn't really expecting it to go, like, to get sniped, because there's so many good fighting types in this league. Like, Keldeo tier 2, Infernape's tier 2, Conk was still there. Like, there's just so many good, Lucario was tier 3, along with Cobalion. So there's just so many good fighting types that I wasn't really worried about this getting sniped. And I only decided I wanted it like 2 rounds ago, so I was chill to leave it. But I did end up getting it. And this is the kind of point that I was like, maybe I should have grabbed a Moongus, because that gives me a little bit of Regenerator Core. But I'm still thrilled to have it. I think it's really good with those U-turns giving me momentum alongside Greninja and Thundurus. I have a really, really good momentum-based team. Like, if we look at my team, Mienshao gets U-turn, Kamala gets U-turn, Decidueye gets U-turn, Incineroar gets Parting Shot and U-turn, Thundurus gets Volt Switch and U-turn, and Greninja gets U-turn. So I have so many Pokemon with momentum to get me into those heavy hitters like Capraja and Mega Altaria, and even get into the other momentum-based Pokemon like Greninja or Thundurus. Plus, if I don't want to go the Regenerator route, like just spamming Scarf U-turns and stuff, I can go the Reckless route, which I think makes Mienshao a pretty dangerous breaker. Just with like high jump, I think it's just high jump kick. It's the only Reckless boosted attack. I could be wrong there. I'm pretty sure high jump kick is boosted by Reckless as well. But you just click those Reckless high jump kicks, and it's coming from a 125 like attack stat, Reckless boosted, stab boosted, 130 base power move. It's hard if you don't have like a good ghost type. That's a tough thing to switch into. Like, even if you resist it, it's still going to do damage, and then I most likely outspeed you if you're a Pokemon that resists me and it's like willing to switch on a high jump kick, and I can U-turn out of there. Like, it's just such a dangerous Pokemon that you have to be scared of. And you can threaten the Scarf on Mienshao really easily, because it's just a Pokemon that almost always comes with Scarf. So you can like effectively bring not Scarf, but threaten the Scarf even if you're banned, make them switch into something to serious damage. So I was kind of pumped about getting this Pokemon, and I've used it before back when I played Gen 7, or maybe it was even Gen 6. I used it a lot in Gen 6 and Gen 7 Draft League. So I think I'm pretty confident in my ability to use it. It's just a matter of like, can I keep up with the current metagame using it? And I really hope I can. So my tier 5 is like the Mr. Mime of this league. I am not like thrilled about it. Like, it is what it is, but it's not my favorite. I'll show you what it is. I got Ariados. So Ariados is not a Pokemon that I'd say is a really good tier 5, especially considering down there was like Volbeat. Like, I absolutely stand Volbeat. That thing is a monster. Brainstar everything. And then there's also the Pokemon I really wanted was Granbull. But I realized that I don't have a grounded poison type, and I really didn't want to grab a grounded poison type with my tier 1. So I grabbed Ariados, because Ariados, for a grounded poison type, is the most valuable, I think, in tier 5. Because also down there's like Arbok, I guess. Maybe Muck is tier 5, I don't even know. I think it is, yeah. And like those kind of Pokemon. But in comparison, they're all like similarly bad stats. But Ariados gets Sticky Web, which gives it like at least it's like a little bit of a fear factor. Scare my opponents like, oh, I have to prep for Sticky Web at least a little bit. And it's just another hazard, as well as Toxic Spikes, which I already had, but it's just another hazard that my opponent has to be afraid of and has to bring Defog or Rapid Spin for, which just gives Thundurus or Decidueye more gas. So I mean, like, it's okay. I really, really wish I could have gotten Granbull, and I might still make a free agency trade for it if I don't really see myself ever bringing Ariados or using Sticky Web or anything. So there's a solid chance that you guys see a free agency for me in the future. But for now, we're rocking with Ariados, who's not bad. He has Priority Shadow Sneak. His it has sticky web, it has toxic spikes. Leech Life and that lunge move are okay, as well as like Skitter Smack. I don't actually think get Skitter Smack because it's not in the new games. But like lunge is okay, reducing attack. It's there. Like it's just a tier 5 that's does what a tier 5 should do, which is chill in the back and make my opponents have to prep for it and come in some niche matchups. Now at this point, it's my last pick. Like I had said, nobody could have sniped me on this. So I ended up getting round, what is this, 10? 5? Yeah, round 11. Mew. Like, that was just insane to me. Mew was a Pokemon that, back in Gen 6 and 7, was almost always picked round, like, it wasn't always the first pick because of Coke, but, like, the Takis were there and stuff. Landorus. But Mew was very, like, I swear, you never got past round 1 or 2. Mew was there round 11, and I just couldn't pass it up. Landorus Therian was also there. So that was the big decision I was trying to make, was between Lando T and Mew. And I would have based my drafts around that or before I had gotten Quagsire, so I wouldn't have the 2 ground type kind of thing. But I got Mew. I think Mew is just so versatile and hard to prep for. And by getting Mew, it means that a lot of my like attacking Pokemon are so hard to bring walls for, just because it can be physical, it can be special. Mew has coverage for everything. Mew can be a Bulkymon. Mew can be a setup sweeper with like the Latios shenanigans with like Calm Mind, Roost, Stored Power kind of stuff. If they don't have a good Dark type. If they do have a good Dark type, I can just be bulky U-turn that outspeeds whatever they want to do. It's just such a good Pokemon. And I'm super like excited to be able to use it just because it's so good, and getting it so late meant that I could pick up Pokemon like Incineroar and Decidueye around before I would have been able to get them, which is just like so cool. It's kind of hard to talk about Mew, like in what I'm going to be able to do for it, because it's so match dependent what I want to do for it because it's so versatile. But all you have to know, if you like have never seen Pokemon before or like watched Pokemon before or been in a draft league or like anything, is that Mew is the versatile Pokemon. It gets every TM move from, and since it's Legacy, it gets every TM move for the past generations. It has 100 base stat in every like stat total thing. So it has 600 base stat total and 100 individual stat in every single thing, which just means it can be molded to do exactly what you want to do. It could be Scarf, it could be Band, it could be Specs, it could be Life Orb, it could be Leftovers, it could be Rocky Helmet. It's just so good. It could be Colbur Berry, which is a really good set in my opinion. It's just always going to be good in almost every matchup. So this is the final team, the big reveal. I think it's really good. I don't know. People might be sleeping on it because there are some super, super busted Pokemon in this like draft league. So there's like Darkrai, Cinderace, all these Pokemon. So it maybe like on your initial glance, it doesn't look like insane. We gotta remember, that's just no Greninja. That's Protein Greninja. Like, that's spice. That's absolutely spice. Plus, I think I have some really great hazards cores with preventing my hazards from getting removed that Greninja can set up really easily. Kakaraja can set up. Mew can even set up if I want to. Ariados can set up. And then Thundurus and Decidueye block them from being removed. Incinerator's a really, really good Intimidate Pokemon. And then I have some decent breakers. If you do look at my team, raw stat breakers are something I'm sort of missing. I don't have a Pokemon like Hoopa Unbound or something that just has a huge crazy stat that just does serious damage. But I do have Mienshao that I can run Reckless Band or Reckless Life Orb and do super like big damage with high jump kick. I have Kakaraja with that big attack stat, just firing up Iron Heads and stuff for the Sheer Force Life Orb. I can run Banded Decidueye or Specs Decidueye. I can run like a lot of stuff to try to get over that. I don't think breakers are the most necessary thing in a draft league, and I think a lot of Pokemon can act as breakers even if they don't seem like they have the stats for it. Like even you could be a really decent breaker and then set up for the sweep for Altaria. Like I think it's really good, and I think it's pretty synergistic, and I'm super, super excited to see how it's going to do. I don't know what the schedule is looking like. Oh, sorry about those little noises. I don't know what the schedules are going to be looking like So I can't tell you what my team builder is going to be or who I'm going to be facing. But I can tell you, no matter what, we're going to be winning week 1, boys. Okay? If you watched the video to here, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. And just thank you.